Welcome, one and all, to the Beltway Baseball Podcast with one of the hosts, Giovanni Velasco, and the other being Luke Pruitt. Say hi to people, Luke.
What's up, everybody?
Now, since this is the first episode, we're going to kind of explain our name a little bit. So, in the DMV area, in DC, Maryland, Virginia, there is a certain highway called the Beltway that connects Baltimore and DC. So when the respective teams play each other, that is called the Beltway Series. And I am a Nationals fan, happy and sad. And Luke is an O's fan, so he's same experience as me.
we both have a lot of sadness, a lot of heartbreak, or just zero heartbreak, just despair. That's basically how it rolls in the DMV.
Oh, you can say that again. So our first episode is going to be on the divisions. We're going to be predicting every single division, how we think they're going to match up in their division. We're going to go division by division, team by team. We're going to give our reasons why. And we know how early it is in the year. That's why this episode is called the Way Too Early to Predict This Podcast episode. Now, Luke, let's say we start off with your favorite division, the AL East.
Oh yeah, definitely my favorite division for sure. Got my birds in there, although it's the division I hate being in the most. But yeah, let's start with it. Gio, do you wanna give your predictions first, or you want me to kick us off?
Hey, your division. You started. Let's start with the fifth seed and fifth spot in the.
Alrighty, we'll work our way up here. So, in the AL East, coming in last, and I am happy to say they are coming in last, are the Boston Red Sox, the Beantown boys. Yeah, they're not looking so hot this year. They're kind of a mess. They let Bogarts walk for nothing. They're pitching. Yeah, all they have to cling on to is Rafael Devers, and I don't think he's enough to save them from not finishing in last place. So I'm gonna say Boston's gonna be fifth. Gio, what do you think? Who do you have going last in the AL East?
You know, I'm gonna have to just straight up agree with you. That team is a disaster. Like, if you could define the word disaster by an image, it would be the logo of the Boston Red Sox. And
They'll be changing it to a D soon.
Oh, it should just be. I'm friends with a bunch of Red Sox fans. Oh, they hate it. They hate the owner. They hate everything. They know it's not what they need. Their prospects, since the Mookie Betts trade, it's been downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And you're paying an old broken pitcher in Chris Sale. You got Devers, but he's not going to be everything. You traded away a good defensive catcher. Xander Bogaerts, like, you could have got something really good for him. Let him walk. You have Trevor Story, but apparently he's not that good out of Coors Field besides 2 weeks in 1 year.
Yeah.
You have Casas coming up, but again, he's still young. You don't know what's going to happen. And Verdugo, he's no Mookie Betts.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. No, I agree with you completely there. I mean, they are mid at best, but there's not a lot to be excited for in Boston. I mean, like, yeah, Devers is about it. I mean, Story, he was rolling in May, but he gets injured and he's inconsistent. He's super inconsistent, if not just bad. And yeah, I mean, the pitching's not there, bullpen's not there. Yeah, it's I think it's easy to say that Boston's going to finish last in the AL East. So
Yeah,
I think
The
we're
only
pretty
time
settled on that.
I think Trevor Story does anything good is when he's playing me in fantasy. It happened
That
twice last year, both gigantic streaks, and I just couldn't catch a break.
he knows, man. He knows when your fantasy team rolls around, he knows, and he's gonna make you eat your words this season, I'm sure too.
He definitely has my number. Are you ready to move on to the fourth place?
Let's do it. I say in fourth place. It's unfortunate for me to say, but I got my Baltimore Orioles. They took a huge leap last year. I say just to have a winning record was a huge leap, and 30 plus wins compared to the previous season. So there's a lot of promise in Baltimore, but I just don't know if we're there yet. I think our only thing maybe holding us back is our pitching. So that's why I have us in fourth instead of third. I have my top two teams remain the same, but I had a tricky time with 3 and 4, but I'm going with my O's. I think they're going to continue to make good strides this year, but just not enough in a really tough AL East. That's why I hate us being in the AL East so much. It's so tough every year.
Well,
So
wait until we get to my team, man.
yes, the Eastern teams, man. The
Pain.
Giants.
Pain.
Yes, yeah. It's a difficult place to be for sure. For sure.
Now this is where our list splits off.
Yes, I based on our conversation, I don't think we have as much agreement here.
I have Tampa. I might get a lot of hate for this. I have Tampa Bay. I am so low on Tampa Bay.
Oh man.
They do not spend any money. When they do, they flip that asset 2 years later for an okay prospect who doesn't work out. But then they get a no name that does work out, and it's the same thing over again. You're going to just trade them away for nothing. And the lineup isn't strong. The rotation is decent. The bullpen is okay. You have Francisco Mejia, who was a top prospect, catching prospect, didn't work out. Yandy Diaz, who showed promise last year but still is unproven. Brandon Lowe, who's average at best. Wander Franco, I'll give them that. That's a superstar player. But are you going to trade him away for crumbs? Isaac Paredes, Manuel Margot, Jose Siri, Randy Rosarina, which last year was the only year not postseason related. He did something. And Harold Ramirez, and your bench is full of young, unproven guys. You have Peter. Their bullpen is just by committee, so if it's the wrong guy, he's going to screw up. And the rotation is the only thing I'll give to them. Shane McClanahan, Tyler Glasnow, 2 studs. You have a young guy in Shane Baz in the 5th spot. You have Patino, who is that prospect, flip for Snell, and you have Eflin. I just can't get behind the Rays. The only team worse is Boston.
I think you make fair points for sure. I mean, I think the only difference, and you said it too, is their pitching. I think it's just, I think with McClanahan, Eflin was a solid pickup for them, but he was like the only thing they did in free agency, so not super exciting. But and Glasnow, I mean, can he stay healthy? He's a stud when he's out there, but can he stay healthy? That's been the theme for several years in a row. I certainly think the Orioles' offense is better than them, or will be better than them, because we'll finally get a full season of Rutschman and Henderson, and who knows who else will come up. So, yeah, I totally agree in that regard. For me, their pitching pushes them over the edge with their bullpen. I think it's close to the Orioles, but I think they just remain slightly stronger. So that's why I got them. That's why I got them. That's why I got the O's in fourth, and I guess we should just move right into 3 because our 3s are opposites too. I imagine I got the Rays in 3, just above the Orioles.
Flip flopping.
Yeah, I say ours is a flip flop. I think we've explained why. What puts the Orioles above the Rays for you?
all those almost major league ready studs coming up through their organization. Not to mention the young studs they already have.
Mhm.
Adley Rutschman behind the plate. That I thought he was going to take a few months to get ready. Blew me out of the water. You have Mountcastle, Cedric Mullins, Grayson Rodriguez, Gunnar Henderson. And if you look at the prospect list, there's just a bunch of guys who are like, "Hey, I'm ready. Let's go."
Oh yeah.
And I think them having more depth and having, if someone goes down, you have another guy who's going to be ready to prove it. And then you still have utility guys like Urias and Jorge Mateo who can still jump in and cause an impact.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is all music to my ears, man. I haven't been this excited about Orioles baseball in a long time. So, but yeah, certainly the youth, the prospects, is definitely an advantage for the Orioles. I think above any team. So yeah, I agree there. I mean, like you said, if somebody goes down, we got we got people waiting in the wings for a chance. So that it's exciting times in Baltimore for sure, for sure. I think they're still growing. I think that's why I have them in 4, but I could see them just as easily in 3, given if everything goes right this year. So
Hey man, you
yeah,
also got to remember, John Means coming back. You
yeah,
traded
I
for Cole
say,
Irvin. Grayson Rodriguez is healthy. He's going to be probably opening day roster.
hmm
You have Kyle Gibson, who's proven with Philadelphia, hey, I can be a good 4 or 5 starter. And then you still have Dean Kramer, who's like, I have some potential too. And you trade away your your all-star closer, and then another one's right there.
I say we got Bautista, we got Perez, so our bullpen when we got Givens, so we got 7, 8, 9 figured out there. Yeah, I mean, getting Means back would be huge. I think we would have made the playoffs with him in the rotation last year. Irvin underrated pickup for the O's. Yeah, Rodriguez slot in there. Gibson is Jordan Lyles' replacement in the back of the rotation, and yeah, Dean Kramer had an excellent season last year. So yeah, I mean, the Orioles they're gonna be fighting all year. They're gonna be a team we're talking about all year. So we'll see. We'll see. I temper my expectations as a despairing Orioles fan, but I do have more hope than I ever have. So I think they could shock us.
No matter what they do this season, there's one thing they're going to be, and that's exciting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I agree. I completely agree there. That's for sure. They're gonna be exciting. No doubt. No doubt.
Should I say who I have at number 2?
Yeah, I say. I think we're in agreement here, but I'll be interested to see if that's changed since we last saw.
You know, I don't think we're going to have a big fan base because we're going to say this. The New York Yankees finish in second. And so they don't make the playoffs. We don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll explain with our next person we talk about why they will come in second. But okay, the Yankees, I think it's going to be a tight race for first place. They have a great team, at least on paper. You have a bunch of young prospects who already hit the ground running. Like, they did great. You found your catcher, Jose Trevino. You brought Rizzo back. DJ LeMahieu has been a great contact hitter. Gleyber Torres still has pop. Donaldson sucks, but he's there. In a really deep lineup, he's good.
Yeah.
You brought back Aaron Judge. Say goodbye to your cap space. You traded for Harrison Bader. You got your defense out there. You got Hicks out there. You have Stan DHing. You have a great bench with Kyle. I'm so sorry. I always mispronounce this. Higashioka. I don't.
Higashioka.
Yep, there we go. Oswald Cabrera, Isaiah Connor-Falefa, Oswald Peraza, Estevan Floria. Like that's a really good bench with potential of starting over some guys. And oh my goodness, this rotation might be the best in baseball. Cole, Rodon, Cortez, Severino, Montas.
I'd say they're sitting pretty with that rotation there, and as you're reading off that lineup, man, it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary. I mean, on paper, it should be scary, but we got to see how they're on the field. And that's why I have them at 2 in the AL East, is because they look so good on paper, and I think this is something that's repeated every year. Is they look so good on paper, but the injuries and the inconsistencies pile up, and they just end up stumbling a little bit, stuttering, and yeah. So that would be why I have them in second. But yeah, I mean, the pitching though is pretty solid. I'm not completely sold on Rodon. He's had 2 great years, but can he do it in New York? That will be interesting to see if he can do it in New York, because New York ain't for everybody, that's for sure. And Montas, we got to see if he bounces back, because he was atrocious with the Yankees. Severino is good. Cole, I think they're paying him way too much money for a guy who had a 3.50 ERA last year, but he's still a good pitcher. And then Cortez is, I think Cortez is almost their ace. He's the most consistent. He ain't gonna blow you away, but he's got good stuff. And so yeah, but Yankees are a good team. I'll give them that. I don't like them, but they're a good team.
No one likes the Yankees unless you're a Yankees fan.
That's absolutely right. Everybody's favorite team to hate, except Yankees fans.
Not to mention they might have guys coming up like Jason Dominguez and other top prospects, and
I say they always got a good prospect pool, and yeah, just the amount of money they can either spend and they can afford to deal assets. They're gonna be able to compete. That's for sure. That's for sure. So
there's a reason they call the Evil Empire.
The Evil Empire, man. They don't back down. I say they're always a threat. They can always be in it based on what they can spend and what they can trade away and acquire. So yeah, I mean, the Yankees are there. They're going to be good again. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and like agreeing with you, it's definitely health issues that puts them in 2. It's definitely the inconsistency. It's definitely the strikeout rate.
Mm-hmm.
And like Frankie Montas last year, once he went to New York, oh man, he got lit up. He had the short ballpark. He didn't have the Coliseum anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that might affect Rodon too. He doesn't have the park. He doesn't have that big outfield. He has short porch and right. And if they turn on it, kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. I didn't think about that, but yeah, Rodon coming into Yankees, Yankee Stadium. I mean, different animal than Oracle Park. Oracle Park, one of the biggest. Yankees being, it's got to be the smallest, if not Fenway. But it is, yeah. So that'll be really interesting to see how he handles pitching in New York consistently. And then yeah, Montas is gonna absolutely bounce back to stay a Yankee. Last year, looking at his stats right now, 1-3 with a 6.35 ERA, so really bad. So he's got to improve. I think he certainly can, but we'll see. We'll see if he's just another one of those that just can't handle being in New York. But yeah, I say, I guess that leaves us with one team, and we're in agreement with our friends north of the border.
Oh yeah, take it home, great Canada.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh man, the Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays, 2 great teams, but I just have to give the edge to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Top to bottom, even trading away studs, top to bottom, they're stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk, Guerrero Jr., Whit Merrifield, Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, Matt Chapman, Varsho, Kiermaier, sneaky, great defensive glove, And I think what they have enough hitting ability, might as well get someone in the outfield. George Springer, great backup catcher, and Danny Jansen. You added Brandon Belt. You still have Espino. You have a prospect in Martinez. You have Otto Lopez. And then the rotation is good.
Mm.
Manoah, Gosman, Barrios, Bassett, Hyun-Jin Ryu. If he stays healthy, that guy was great in LA. You have one of the best closers in the league in Jordan Romero. And they're consistent.
Oh yeah, they're consistent. Yeah, that's what gives them. I think gives them the edge over the Yankees is that they're consistent. Yeah, and like you said, that lineup and just roster top to bottom is it's impressive. I mean, they got Kirk, all-star catcher. Yeah, they're superstars. Guerrero Jr., Bichette, and that rotation. I mean, they just absolutely just put the cherry on top with adding Bassett this off season. So I mean,
and he's the fourth starter.
He's the fourth starter. Yeah, you have Manoah is an ace. Gosman was an ace for the Giants. I mean, he was second behind Webb, but still, he's turned into an ace, and he proved that his year with the Giants wasn't just a one-hit wonder. You know, he was great last year. Barrios, we'll see. He was definitely not great last year, but I mean, they have the offense to protect him, so he's got that going for him. And then, Bassett was great. He's consistent. And then, like you said, if Ryu stays healthy, 1 through 5 is just devastating. And then Romero to close it out. So, the Blue Jays are going to be a force to be reckoned with. That's for sure this year.
I would even consider them World Series, like one of the World Series favorites.
I agree. Oh yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I say if they're not in the ALCS, it's going to be shocking.
The crazy part is we went over the rotation, but it's so much deeper. Someone goes down, they're going to have someone ready. You have Kikuchi. You have a young guy, Nate Pearson. You have tons of prospects, major league ready, and you got guys in the bullpen who aren't top tier, but make an impact. And like Adam Simber, I don't know how you beat this team. Maybe you catch them on an off day. Maybe they had too much Taco Bell and they're holding their pants real tight.
They got some Timbits at the Tim Hortons. Yeah.
It's going to be a great division.
Oh, yeah. AL East never fails to be great. And, I mean, it's going to be a battle between the Yankees and Blue Jays. I mean, it's going to be a war. An absolute war, and we'll see who comes out on top. But I'm thinking it's the Jays.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch those games on MLB Network and.
Oh yeah,
baseball. Where are you? I miss you.
50 days, man. 50 days.
Oh,
50 days till opening day.
Oh, I can't wait. So I guess it's time to move on to the Central.
Yeah, I say AL Central time. The most mid-division in all of baseball.
Oh, yeah. And I'll start this one off since you got the last one. I think in 5th place in the AL Central, by no surprise, the Detroit Tigers. They have potential.
That's putting it kindly.
Ready. They're not ready. They treat it like a business. Every team is a business, but they treat it like a crappy business, one that just wants to shut down. They feel angry when they have to bring up a top guy, it feels like now. The best thing you got is Miggy for like one more season.
Mm-hmm.
Then what? You have Casey Mize and you have Torkelson and you have Skubal. You have Matt Manning, but who's to say they're on the team by the end of the season? You have Javi Baez, but what's that going to do? I saw a stat that said Javi Baez had the best WAR on the team, and it was the lowest WAR in MLB history to lead a team.
Oof.
I don't know if you agree with fifth place, but I think it's flat out there. It's nothing good ever comes out of Detroit besides Eminem, and it seems like that way.
No, yeah, we're in complete agreement there. Yeah, I got Detroit going, yeah, fifth place for sure. I mean, there ain't a lot going for the Tigers, which, yeah, I mean, like you said, I saw that stat too with Baez having the highest WAR on the team, which is the lowest WAR to lead a team in either so long or ever. And it's, yeah, that's when Javier Baez batting 238 is your leader in WAR. That's a rough go. That's a rough go. And his inconsistencies at the plate just were just so clear last year. And yeah, you got a washed up Miguel Cabrera. I hate to say it, but Miguel Cabrera, this is his finale tour. It has to be. It is. Um, they're young prospects, have a lot of growth still. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually pan out or if they end up being busts. We'll see. But yeah, we won't dwell on the Tigers much more because there's not much.
Oh, please,
not much
please,
to talk
please
about.
Don't. I mean, when your closer is Jose Cenero, you got to move on.
I say, who even is that guy?
Not Gregory Soto. Hell, welcome to Philadelphia.
Yeah. Poor Tigers. Not really. I'm not a big Tigers guy, so they can be bad. That's fine.
You want to take us in the fourth place?
Let's do it. Another team that I dislike is in fourth place. I got the Kansas City Royals. Yeah, they're still rebuilding. They had those great runs. I mean, 14 and 15, man. They were some of the best, and but all those guys are elsewhere or retired, and they're trying to figure out what their new identity is. So, I think their pitching certainly puts them over the Tigers. I mean, they're not atrocious like the Tigers are. Like the Royals are going to be a decent team, but yeah, not enough to jump any of the other three teams in my opinion. So yeah, I got KC in 4.
You know, man, I agree. You know, I would say for a good 2 days, I was really thinking about the Royals. I was going to put them as a sleeper division winner, and then I thought about it, and then I realized I must be sleeping because that's crazy. Listen to this. Like this has potential for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, with the other teams in the division, you got Salvador Perez. Doesn't have much longer as a catcher. Just the position tears down your body so fast. And
oh yeah, they're going to have to move him to DH soon enough.
He's been there forever. Nick Prado, great potential. Nicky Lopez, he's been mid. Bobby Witt Jr., he's going to be a stud. Hunter Dozier, washed up. Kyle Isbell, mid. Drew Waters, mid. Edward Alvarez, mid. Vinny Pasquantino, he has potential. MJ Melendez. And then after that, their bench goes to crap. You have Brady Singer, he showed himself. You have Ryan Yarbrough. Okay, Zach Greinke, washed. Jordan Lyles, washed. Brad Keller, and somehow, for some reason, Aroldis Chapman wanted to sign in Kansas City.
I say, where did he come from? Why did he sign there?
He probably just wanted a place where he can look good.
Yeah, maybe they'll deal him to a contender. We'll see.
Man, just like Detroit, let's just get out of Kansas City. Oh.
Yeah, I say Kansas City ain't got much to talk about, so we'll certainly move on from them. We'll come back to them in 3 years.
Maybe longer. Who knows?
Maybe longer.
All right. So in third place, this is where it gets tricky. I have the Chicago White Sox.
Okay. Justify that.
I like Cleveland and Minnesota better. I think that's my main reason because they have a decent lineup, but they're always good on paper. They just never can put it together. You have Yasmani Grandal, but he's been terrible. Jake Berger, cool last name. Lurie Garcia, who I haven't heard of you, but Tim Anderson, great player. Yoel Makata, always heard. Andrew Vaughn has potential. Luis Robert, always hurt. Andrew Benintendi can't hit for power anymore. Eloy Jimenez, always hurt. Zebi Savala, their bench is trash. Dylan Cease, great pitcher. Giolito, 50-50, either hurt or he's trash. Lance Lynn, same thing. Clevenger, same thing, but now he has a case against him about child abuse. Great.
Yeah, we'll see if he even pitches again. We'll see how we'll wait to see how that plays out.
Oh, something with these guys. Kopech, either hurt or trash. And Liam Hendricks, great closer. Get better, Liam Hendricks. Hope treatment's going great.
Yeah, so hopefully he has a full recovery here soon because great player, great ambassador for the game. So one of the best players to watch.
Oh yeah,
just turn off his microphone.
Great charities, great guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think your criticisms of the White Sox are fair. I mean, they have a lot of problems staying healthy, as you said. I mean, Jimenez and Robert, I mean, great players, and they stay healthy. Tim Anderson, great player. Can he stay consistent? Moncada, can he avoid striking out over 200 times? I like Savala. He's pretty decent. Their catching tandem is pretty decent, but they got to be consistent. The rotation, I mean, Cease is an ace. There's no doubt about it. He finished second in Cy Young last year. Wouldn't be surprised if he wins it this year. Giolito has consistency issues. Lance Lynn, good middle rotation starter. Kopech, borderline starter. But yeah, I think your criticisms of I certainly think your criticisms of the White Sox are fair. I think my only thing with them would be Jake Berger, man. You got to have the Whopper 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 song as your walk-up song. That's my only requirement for the White Sox. If that's not the walk-up song, I am
season's
protesting.
Over. Back it up.
Season's over. Yeah. It's over, man. So Jake Berger, Whopper Whopper Whopper. Let's do it. So yeah, okay. Little tangent there. But yeah, I have hope in the White Sox to bounce back this season. I don't think Tony La Russa was a great fit there. I don't think he should have came back from retirement, and the White Sox weren't the right team. They have too much personality on that team to have a manager like that. That's just so old school. So I think they'll bounce back with new management. So I don't have them third. I have Minnesota third. I know this is gonna hurt for you to hear, Gio.
Second favorite team.
Yeah. I mean, they got Correa back. So that's good news for them. But yeah, he flirted with some other teams, but eventually he came back home to Minnesota. So but I just don't know. I just can never seem to really jump on Minnesota's bandwagon. I think they're just going to be a mid team. They have a decent lineup. I mean, Polanco, Correa, Kepler, Buxton. We'll see what Joey Gallo can do. And their rotation can be decent. They got Jorge Lopez as a closer. I mean, they certainly could surprise us, but I have them in third. I just don't think they're better than the other two teams at the moment. At the moment.
Hey man, it's a tough top three to rank. I have that flip flopped.
Yeah, I was having a tough time. My only certainty in that division was first place. Other than that, but the 2 through 4 is a crapshoot, and then yeah, 5 was pretty obvious. But yeah, so what you got? Who you got at 2 then?
I got Minnesota.
Okay.
I think they always look good on paper. I think they have the potential to make it. Can they stay healthy? Can they stay consistent? You traded away your batting title champion, which I guess in this scenario makes sense. You have a ton of depth hitting wise. You got a stud pitcher. You sign one of the best defensive catchers in the game, Christian Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
Can't hit. Just can't. Jose Miranda, great power potential, first base. Jorge Polanco playing second. He's proven. Carlos Correa, proven. Those are studs. Kyle Farmer, more of a mid to late hitter. He's just kind of a contact guy who has sneaky pop. Just kind of keeps the line moving. Max Kepler, same with Kyle Farmer. Buxton, stud. Joey Gallo, keeping at the bottom of the lineup. He'll hit you a few home runs, but he has a great defensive glove out there, Gold Glove talent. You have Kirilloff, but DH is up in the air right now because Ryan Jeffers, great backup catcher. Royce Lewis, if he stays healthy, he has the potential to be a stud. But can he stay healthy? He has 2 torn ACLs back-to-back years.
Mm.
Nick Gordon, great bench guy. Trevor Larnach, Michael A. Taylor, former national, great defensive glove. Great rotation, great depth. Joe Ryan, stud. What a steal. You traded Nelson Cruz, who the year after you traded him went to the Nationals. Did nothing. You got a stud pitcher. Pablo Lopez. You did lose Luis Ariz, but he had health concerns. You got Pablo Lopez, stud pitcher. Kenta Maeda, if healthy, stud. Sonny Gray, if healthy, stud. Chris Paddock, if healthy, stud. And their 6th potential starting pitcher, Tyler Mahle. He's more of a 4-5 guy. He was only a 1 guy because he was in Cincinnati. And you have Jorge Lopez, who once he was traded was very inconsistent. Scary inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Duran, who could take over that closer role because that guy can throw a 98-mile-per-hour splitter. I guess we know who's taking first place now, and that is the Cleveland Guardians. I am not used to saying that.
Yeah, I'm still not used to saying that, but
thank you, people.
They're going to win the division, though. They're going to win the division, though. I say, might not be used to saying their name, but I think they got the AL Central. I mean, pitching's still good. Lineup, they don't have a lot of power, but they get on base. I mean, the best way I think to describe Cleveland is they get it done. They just get it done. They know what they got to do. They go out and do it. They get it done. They benefit from having a weak division, and yeah, I mean, we'll see them in October again as the AL Central Division winner. I think that's going to be the case.
I agree. I mean, you have their catcher, Bo Naylor, top prospect. You have his brother DHing, Josh Naylor, who really broke out last year. Great power. Mm-hmm. You brought in Josh Bell, super underrated, sneaky move.
Mm-hmm.
He struggled with San Diego, but with Washington, great player.
Mm-hmm.
Switch hitting pop. Andres Jimenez broke out. Ahmed Rosario broke out. Jose Ramirez, almost an MVP caliber season. Oscar Gonzalez broke out. Straw broke out. Quan broke out. You got a great backup veteran catcher in Zunino. You have a top prospect in Tyler Freeman. You have top prospect George Valera. That rotation, I mean, like you said, rotation. Disgusting. Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, former top prospect Cal Quantrill, Zach Plesac, who's been a good 4-5 starter. Oh, I turned on a Midwestern accent there.
Mhm.
Aaron Saval, and probably one of the best closers in the game, and Emmanuel Clase. Like, sign me up. They're winning. I put a bet
Oh,
on right now if I could.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I am 100% there with you. Like you said, Josh Bell, a great signing for them, and yeah, I mean they have a solid lineup, solid rotation. I think easy choice to win the AL Central for sure.
Absolutely. Now we went from a great team to a team. Oh man, Boston. I'm sorry, you're not the worst in the AL. Oakland, move to Montreal.
hmm
I am disgusted when I look at this team. When I'm looking at their team, and I'm impressed by their lineup with names of Tony Kemp and Jesus Aguilar. Oh my goodness, like, oh, so gross. Shea Langoliers, great top catching prospect. Seth Brown showed promise. Tony Kemp, below average. Kevin Smith, prospect. Chase Peterson, below average. Ramon Laureano, average. Christian Pache, looking to be a bust. Aldemades Diaz, below average. Jesus Aguilar, now below average. No one on the bench. Your only big names in the rotation are people unproven. You have Blackburn, who did prove himself last year, but who knows? Maybe that was a fluke. You brought in a guy from Japan, unproven. Capillarin, mid. AJ Puck, mid. JP Sears, prospect unproven. And your closer is Danny Jimenez. Give me Sonero right now.
Yeah, man. I do love the A's, but it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. They're still playing at the Coliseum. They're going to hardly
Worst
have any
stadium in baseball,
fans.
man. Worst stadium in baseball. Falling
The
apart.
toilet's going to be clogged and overflowing or leaking. Um, yeah, there'll be like a couple thousand fans if that. And probably people just wandered in the park.
Yeah, they're probably on
Got
something.
lost. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean Shea Langoliers is the only player on that team I look forward to watching, and
Knowing them, you won't be there.
poor Shea. No, don't be buying a Shea Langoliers jersey anytime soon if you're an A's fan. Let's just put it that way.
Just buy
Unless
Ricky
it's
Henderson. Just
I say buy Ricky Henderson or get yourself a jersey that has Velcro nameplate numbers.
there you go.
That's what you need, because nobody, if anybody has a good season there, they're just going to trade them away. So yeah, Oakland A's 5th place, worst in the AL and probably worst in the whole league. So
I think the best option if you're an A's fan and you don't want to be hurt anymore, just drop it. Drop the team.
yeah, I like you said, I think they need to. I think they need to rehome. I don't even think they should try to build a new park or anything. Just rehome. Go to Montreal. Go to Las Vegas. Something like that.
Las Vegas
Yeah.
is perfect. You had the Knights. You have the Raiders now.
Yeah, yeah. Las Vegas, as we've seen, is passionate about their sports teams. So I think Las Vegas would be a perfect fit
You would
for
make so
the
much
A's.
money from betting
Mm-hmm.
the world.
You get way more money. Yeah, yeah. I said they'd be able to spend more money. They wouldn't have to be a bottom feeder anymore. They wouldn't have to get lucky on having good seasons. They could actually buy their team. So yeah, it's yeah, I think it's time for a change. Oakland A's, man, solid run, but I think it's time to close that chapter for sure.
Oakland A's get an F in my book.
Yeah, yeah. If they could get an F minus, they would get an F minus.
Ugh. I feel like I need a shower now.
Yeah, I say Oh man, the
See,
Oakland A's.
the next part of the division is actually so hard to rank. Besides
Yeah,
first place, I think I know who first place is, but the next three, oh man, honestly, the next two, it's just so hard.
you see, I had trouble with 3 and 4, not as much 1, 2, and 5. So I'd be interesting to hear what's your fourth one, because mine's the Angels. Mine's the Angels. They have a good offense. That if Trout's healthy, if Rendon's healthy, but their pitching with Otani's about it, and they're having ownership problems. So yeah,
Yeah, man, same
they
here.
refusing announcing their owner's not selling the team, and yeah, so the Angels need to figure out, they've been having an identity crisis for the last couple of years, and you got the best player in the game there. We need to see Mike Trout playing playoff baseball. So they either need to get it together or they need to trade him away, because I just can't stand him not being in the playoffs. And Otani. Otani not being in the playoffs is a crime. So yeah, Angels, man, they figure it out. Because I don't want you to be fourth place, but you're going to be fourth place.
I cannot believe Mike Trout's had one playoff series in his life,
And
he
it was sweep to the Royals.
that's embarrassing.
It's very sad. It's a crime. It's a crime. I mean, yeah, I don't know how else to put it. It's a crime. And yeah, the Angels need to be brought to justice, because I can't watch this anymore.
Same here. I can't. The lineup's great. Outside of that, I don't want to see the pitching.
Yeah, lineup's great, and their best pitcher is possibly their best hitter too. So it's
Yep.
it's not looking good in Los Angeles, at least for the A's. Yeah, the Angels fans. Yeah, sorry guys.
The best
Rough
I'll give
go.
the Angels is they have potential, because if everything hits, they're a playoff team. But
I say
it's
they're
such a
they
slight
they it's a slight chance, but like you said, everything's got to hit. Trout's got to stay healthy and have an MVP season. Otani's got to have an MVP season. Rendon's got to stay healthy and be be great Anthony Rendon again. And then the rest of the lineup's got to pick it up, and their pitching has to be somewhat decent.
I
So
agree.
we'll see. I got them in fourth, but we'll see.
I'm looking at their lineup, and it's just you have a decent catcher, you have a good first baseman, you have a good second baseman, and Brandon Jury, good shortstop. Anthony Rendon's good when healthy. Hunter Renfroe's a power hitter. You have the best player in baseball in Trout. Ward is great. DH is Otani / Gio Urshela when Otani can't DH. You have then your bench falls off, and you have Thassis and Rengifo and Velasquez and Adele and Moniak, and your rotation falls off after Otani, and then you rely on guys on Anderson and Sandoval and Detmers and Canning, and your closers Tepera. The pitching is
Yeah, the pitching's a killer. I mean, I like their lineup. Drury, great addition. Rendon, Trout, Otani, we know what that's all about when they're on their game. Fletcher, Ward, they got guys. Walsh, all good guys in there to fill in the bottom of the order. But yeah, that pitching, man, it's going to be brutal.
I agree, which is why I want to move up to the next spot here. And I have the Texas Rangers coming in third. And I'm not sure you agree. I have my reasons, because I'm looking at their team and it looks pretty good on paper, but
The rotation looks good on paper. I'm in agreement with you there. I got them in third as well, and Yeah, I mean, they basically signed a whole starting rotation this offseason. Like, they went from having one starting pitcher in Perez to having like five, like DeGrom,
All really
Evaldi,
good.
Heaney is. I feel like Heaney's bouncing back, and John Gray. I mean, can be
As a
decent
fifth starter is
as a
really
fifth starter. Yeah, yeah, I'll take him as a fifth starter. Yeah, so um, yeah, I mean that's a solid rotation there. I don't trust DeGrom staying healthy, so that's why I just have lower expectations for them. But and their lineup is okay.
I
Semien, Seager, up down the middle is good. So
think
yeah.
they have a sneaky lineup.
Hmm.
Like Jonah Heim, if he can keep it up from last year, great. Nathaniel
Hmm.
Lowe, toward the end of the season, went off. Simeon,
Hmm.
proven. Seager, proven. Josh Jung. I mean, can you stay healthy? You're a top prospect. Stay healthy. Adolis Garcia, inconsistent. The other Garcia, Leote, I don't really know you too well. Brad Miller, you're more of a bench guy, but you have to start here because Bubba Thompson is not ready. Mitch Carver,
Hmm.
there's a reason you don't catch anymore. You're a great DH. Sam Huff, former top prospect, but now he's put on bench catcher. Ezekiel Duran, unproven. And yeah, that rotation, when healthy, is great.
Hmm.
And Jose Leclerc is a very underrated closer, but he just can't stay healthy.
Hmm.
Which leads us to the number 2 spot.
Yes, sir. I have a feeling we're probably in agreement here too. I got the Mariners.
Yep, right here
I
too.
like I like what the Mariners are doing. I'm really excited about the Mariners. They're one of my favorite teams to watch now, top to bottom. I mean, the lineup. I mean, what can you say? Cal Riley, big dumper, man. He is he's great. Ty France, all star. Colton Wong, a good addition there. I mean, plug him in at
Defensive
second.
stud. Defensive stud.
Great on defense. Yeah, if he's not good, just put him in the 9 spot. He can produce. J.P. Crawford, good shortstop. Eugenio Suarez, underrated power hitter. Teoscar Hernandez, great pickup by the Mariners, getting Hernandez. Man, I when I saw that, I was like, yes, that's what they need right there. Plug him in right field. Julio Rodriguez, absolute stud. AJ Pollock, I mean, he can still be decent. Put him in left field. Play him against the Astros. He hates them, so maybe he'll get angry and really produce in this series. So yeah, and then that rotation, Castillo, excellent pickup, excellent pickup. Gilbert, good. Robbie Ray, not as good as he was in Toronto, but still good pitcher. Marco Gonzalez, good, and George Kirby, and then their bullpen is pretty locked down. So, I mean, top to bottom, man. Seattle Mariners wouldn't surprise me if they won the division, but I just don't think they're as good as the Astros yet. But they're really good.
I am. I'm not a fan of them, but I am a big supporter of them. Just like even if you don't like Pollock doesn't work out or Dylan Moore who's DHing, you have Evan White and Kellenic. You just have so many people ready. You have Paul Sewald in the bullpen. Just like if you're having Robbie Ray be your third starting pitcher, you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Marco Gonzalez underrated, especially as a fourth guy. George Kirby still really young and still really underrated, and especially at the 5 spot, you have no pressure. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Castillo, I mean, that guy makes you feel certain ways when he throws that sinker. JP Crawford had a great season last year. Like you said, Teoscar, what a move. I'm trying to remember what they gave up. Was it just prospects or?
I'm on it for you. I'm on it for you. They gave up Adam Macko as a prospect and Eric Swanson. Eric Swanson, a pitcher.
Was
So
it much for a great player?
No, I don't understand necessarily what the Blue Jays mindset was there. I mean, the Blue Jays still have a great team. Don't get me wrong, but they just kind of gave him up. I mean, Swanson's a good relief pitcher, but yeah, I mean Hernandez, solid pickup for the Mariners. I was excited to see that break, and yeah, I think they got a huge W in that, and it just tops off what I think is a great team. I think they're going to be a team that's in it down the stretch in the playoffs, and yeah,
Oh yeah,
good stuff in Seattle. Finally broke that playoff drought, so they don't have that monkey on their back anymore. So they can just go out and play. They can just play this year. So
the only player I wish was still on the team, even if he was a long reliever, if he was a fifth starter, I would just wish Felix Hernandez was still there.
yes,
That guy is Seattle.
he is Seattle, man, the king, man. I know it is really a shame that he never got to go to the playoffs with them because, man, when he was in his prime, some of the best stuff to watch. I mean, like a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. Like, what even is that? So, yeah,
And all that
Felix
movement
Hernandez,
too,
man,
Oh.
and all the movement. Yes, yeah, Felix Hernandez, man, Orioles legend too. So don't get me wrong. Yeah, and it's one of the greatest injustices of our time was him not making the playoffs.
Mike Trout, you're next.
Yeah, it's looking bad. But yeah,
I
Seattle
think
Mariners, number 2. I slot them in there.
I think this is the
Certainly
first
a
time
wild
we've
card
had
team.
our rankings go the same.
Yeah, I say let's just finish off with the Astros. I
The
mean,
World Series champions.
the World Series champs,
And you didn't
and
cheat this time.
I say they did it legitimately this time. So good for them. Good for
What
them.
a
They got their first World Series. So yeah.
man, what a stacked team.
I mean, what can you say about the Astros? I mean, they lose Verlander, but it's
Have
that
so many
lineup.
guys ready.
Yeah, they have so many guys. They have guys that just step up, like that just come out of the woodwork and just step up. I mean, let's go over the rotation first. Framber Valdez, he went on just like a stupid streak of like quality starts. Like I can't even remember how many it was, but it was ridiculous. It was a record. Luis Garcia,
Not
great.
my Luis Garcia.
McCullers, yes, Lance McCullers, great. Javier Urquidy, I mean, just top 1 through 5, great rotation. Bullpen, Ryan Presley closing out, great. And then that lineup, man, they just
Oh,
tacked on Jose Abreu
what a sneaky
to
addition.
arguably the best lineup in the league. Maldonado, Abreu, Altuve, Jeremy Pena, World Series MVP, and just breakout stud. We'll see if he has a sophomore slump, but he's looking like a stud. Alex Bregman, great. Kyle Tucker, one of the more underrated players in the league. Chas McCormick, I mean, he's your 9-hole guy, but well, I mean, he's good.
He's sneaky.
Brantley, great hitter. Can he stay healthy? That's the question, but great hitter. And the Astros have more than enough to fill in if he doesn't stay healthy. And then Yordan Alvarez, just haunting the Dodgers every time he steps up to the plate.
He's gonna
So
win an MVP one year.
I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he ain't a great fielder, but
That's
that bat plays. Yep, the DH is a beautiful thing, and yeah, man, he's a slugger through and through. Gets on base a ton, hits home runs. He was so clutch for them in the playoffs too last year. I mean, he single-handedly defeated the Mariners from an offensive standpoint. So, yeah, I mean, what more can you say about Yordan Alvarez? Just a beauty of a player.
Oh yeah, man. And like even the underrated things here, like having Martin Maldonado, who is a veteran catcher, but you have a young catcher in the wings who's just learning behind him, learning so much in Corey Lee. Jose Abreu, this I think is just one of the best pickups of the year, especially for that lineup. He's older, but man, he can still hit. Jose
Mhm.
Altuve, one of the best second basemen, if not the best. Jeremy Pena, God, it makes me so mad. You lose Correa and you get another stud. Alex Bregman came back last year. He finally broke out again. Kyle Tucker,
Mhm.
great player. Chas McCormick, super sneaky. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Michael Brantley, fantastic contact hitter. If he's your 7-hole hitter, like you said, Jordan, that bench is good. Corey Lee. Diaz is a third catcher. JJ Machovic. He had
Matajevic,
moments.
something like that. But
He
yeah.
had moments last year. You have Jake Myers moments last year. Dubon moments last year. Rotation. I think they have in the bag. Even with Seattle having a great team, I think they have in the bag.
Mm, I'm in agreement there. I mean, yeah, between having Pena easily fill in for Correa and adding Abreu, I mean, they're stacked. They're stacked. Astros are a good team, man.
Good's the floor.
Yeah, yeah, for real. I say they are gonna they could sleepwalk their way into the playoffs. That's how great of a team they are. So, um, yeah, I think that wraps up the AL pretty nicely there. I
Oh yeah.
say AL's gonna be good. AL's gonna be good.
Now it's time to go to my favorite league, the NL. We're going to
Yes.
go from the World Series champions to the team that beat them. My favorite team, the Washington Nationals. I got this. I am a fanboy. I'm still going to watch all their games, no matter how much it hurts. They're not going to be a playoff team, obviously. I have them in 5th. You probably have the same.
hmm
They have a lot of potential, not for this year, but like for the future. Keibert Ruiz traded in the Max Scherzer trade. I think he's going to be a stud. Defensively, he's already a stud. He just needs to work on his power. Dom Smith, he needs a comeback year, but if he does, fantastic hitter. Good defensive player. Luis Garcia, I think he's going to have a breakout year. He almost hit 300 for most of the season last year before hitting a big slump. CJ Abrams, that kid's going to be a stud. Fast, defense, contact, needs to work on the power, but just those other 3. Jamer Candelario, just another Dom Smith. They're just all trade pieces. Lane Thomas, all you give up was John Lester, and he's become a great outfielder. He'd be a 4th outfielder on good teams. Victor Robles, good defensively, can't hit for anything. Corey Dickerson, another trade piece, but decent potential. And I didn't know this name going into last year. Joey Meneses. If you mentioned that name to me before he came up, I would have asked who. But he looks like the best hitter on this lineup. You have Riley Adams on the bench, Keyboom, Vargas, Alex Called, Stone Garrett. Don't worry, I won't blame you if you don't know any of them. And if healthy, this is the rotation of Strasburg. Okay, and since he's not going to be healthy, Mackenzie Gore, Cade Cavalli, Josiah Gray, Trevor Williams, Patrick Corbin. Somehow you're still in the league. And Kyle Finnegan will be the closer, who's a diamond in the rough. And they have a ton of prospects that could come up. Robert Hassel is supposed to come up this year at some point. Jackson Rutledge, Brady House is going to be a few years away, but he's looking good. You got our top prospect, who I'm so excited for, and James Wood. Dude's a 6'7" speedy outfielder who hits for tons of pop. I think the future's bright, but it's not bright yet.
I say, the future is bright for the Nationals, but they gotta enter the valley. I mean, they're in the valley right now, but they gotta still walk through the valley some more because it's gonna be a rough season. There's no doubt about it, but you have some positive things to watch. Like you said, you've covered it. but they did well in their trades. I mean, they got rid of Soto. Like he wasn't accepting their offers, so they were able to trade him away, got value instead of just letting him walk, which would have been a disaster and would have set the franchise back several more years. Yeah, I mean, is there's a lot of room for players. Players are going to have opportunities on the Nationals, so I certainly hope we have some surprise breakouts. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I love the Nationals too, and we'll see what they can do. We'll see what they can do. Maybe they can be a upset team this year.
I'm not looking for wins. I'm looking for tiny commercial breaks of happiness.
Yes, small victories, Gio. Small victories.
Yep, I'm gonna. Don't worry, I think about them all the time. I think it's time to move on to.
Yes, I say. Yeah, we'll certainly come back to the Nationals. Little teaser for everybody, but yeah, in fourth, I don't think there's much of a question here either. I got the Marlins,
Yep.
and yeah, I mean they got a Rise. Great trade there. I think getting him was good. Um, they have some guys on their team that can play, but they unfortunately are in a very difficult division as it stands currently. But I mean they have a fun team to watch. I mean Jazz Chisholm is electric. MLB The Show cover athlete. Just just great to watch. They got the Cy Young Award winner in Sandy Alcantara, so great pitching there. Yeah, the Marlins have a decent team, and they've had decent teams for a while now. I'm ready for them to be great, but they just haven't been great. But I think they'll be a decent team this year, but not good enough to obviously overtake any of the other three teams above them.
I completely agree. I kind of throw them in the same boat as the Angels, where you can put a good team on paper, but it just won't produce.
Mhm.
And the Luis Arraez trade was definitely way better for Minnesota. You lost your batting champion, but Miami also gave up a top prospect in that trade.
Mm-hmm.
So they lost with that. You have Jacob Stallings, veteran catcher. Arraez Segura was a good 1-year pickup. I think it was a 2-year deal. Chisholm's supposed to play center field, but who knows? Joey Wendell's all right. I would say Al Garcia was supposed to be a good signing. I'm not sure about anymore. JJ Bleday, young potential. Jesus Sanchez, young potential. Jorge Soler. You had a great postseason run with Atlanta. Garrett Cooper, always hurt. John Birdie, you're fast. Jordan Groshans, potential. Brian De La Cruz, potential. Sandy Alcantara, stud, steal, St. Louis. You're still crying about it. Edward Cabrera, young potential. Trevor Rogers, middle of the rotation guy. Cueto, I always forget you're still in the league. Luzardo, former National.
Mm-hmm.
Potential, but a losing time. And Tanner Scott. Fans out there, if you don't know who Tanner Scott is, don't worry about it. He should not be a closer.
Yeah,
And
I say the Marlins are pretty mid, but yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I think that leads. I think this is where our list might get a little messier.
Yeah, this was really difficult. This was really difficult. Doing the top three for the NL East. It might have been the most. I think it was the most difficult of any of the divisions for sure. To have three teams that could win it. I don't think you have that anywhere else. So I'll say my third that I got. It was tough, but I got the Phillies again, finishing in third.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah.
already
The
splitting
world.
up our list.
Yeah. I say, I love the Phillies. I love what they did in the offseason. Um, Bringing in Trey Turner, that was their big fish. Great, great signing. Um, pair him back with Bryce Harper again. You got they have Taiwan Walker. They brought him in um, to solidify that rotation there. He was decent with the Mets, so I like that. Um, yeah, the Phillies are a great team, and if they win the division, it won't surprise me. If they make it to the World Series again, it won't surprise me. Uh, I just I just don't know if I can confidently put them over the other two teams in that division, but they're pretty stinky.
Man, these top three.
Yeah,
I
who's your number three? Because we've been agreeing for a while here, but I think we're actually going to have a debate here.
you know, my reason for this team being a third is not really a statistical reason. It's more of a I've seen it a million times reason. It's the New York Mets. I'm sorry, Mets fans. You met it up. Like it just happened. No matter how good your team is, you don't win. How good was your team in 2015? Amazing. Where did it end up? Second place. You have a top catching prospect, Francisco Alvarez, Pete Alonso, great power hitter, Jeff McNeil, squirrel, great contact hitter, can hit for pop. Lindor finally had a good year in New York. Eduardo Escobar, I mean, okay power hitter at this point. He's getting old. Starlin Marte starting to get old. Nimmo, good re-signing. Canna, I mean, wasn't that good in Oakland, to be honest. Not that good here. Vogelback, that was a great pickup. Great DH. On your bench, you have Nitto, Beatty, Guillermo, Pham, Ruff. Doesn't really sound amazing, but even with all these good players, it's the injuries that like concern me. You have Scherzer and Verlander, two old guys who are amazing talents, but you just can't stay healthy. Carrasco, same thing. McGill, same thing. Quintana, same thing. Edwin Diaz is the only kind of healthy guy all the time, and he had one good season so far. They have potential, but they're the New York Mets.
I say the Mets are gonna Met, but yeah, I say they have a great team on paper, but the biggest thing is always injuries, especially the rotation. Always injuries. Will they stay healthy? I think they stand a better chance of staying healthy. Now Scherzer did have injuries down the stretch last year, and Verlander. I mean, I don't think they did your normal Tommy John surgery with Verlander. I think they just gave him a robot arm because nobody should be able to come back from Tommy John surgery at like 40 years old and win a Cy Young award. That just shouldn't be possible, but he did it, and I mean, it was to say he won't do it again. I mean, he's JV. He's gonna go out there and compete. So yeah, I mean the Mets look great on paper. It's just gonna be a matter of staying healthy. And yeah, I got Philly. You got the Mets in third, and neither of those situations would surprise me one bit. But
I'm really interested who you have in second.
yeah, and we might have almost a reversal list in a way because I got Atlanta in second. I got Atlanta in second, man.
Same here.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in agreement there. We're in agreement there that Atlanta is gonna be a wild card team. There's no doubt about that. They're not missing the playoffs, but maybe just not the best in the division. Although it pains me. It maybe not pains me to say it, but it's really tough to say that because they add Sean Murphy at catcher, who was great with the Athletics. Probably the only thing the Athletics fans had to cheer for last year. Sean Murphy and catcher. Olson, great first baseman. Gold Glover, power, you name it. Albies, can he be healthy again? If he is, he'll be good. Vaughn Grissom, good potential there at shortstop. Austin Riley, turned into a stud last year. Acuna Jr., we know he's a stud. He's just got to be healthy. Michael Harris, Rookie of the Year winner. Kind of surprisingly, I thought it should have been his teammate Strider, but that's another conversation for another time. But great player. Eddie Rosario, he was great in the playoffs in their World Series run. We'll see if he can continue to be good. Ozuna, can he stay out of jail? The rotation. Max Fried, Strider, Soroka, Morton, Wright. I don't think I have to say much else about that. That's a great rotation there. I mean, can they do it in the playoffs? That's the only thing. In 2021 they could. 2022 they couldn't. So we'll see what 23 brings. But and Raisel Iglesias is their closer. I think that's solid. So Braves. I got them second. You got them second. I'd be interested to hear why you wouldn't have them finish first, though, because I could just as easily put them first. That was the hardest thing for me. Was it was going to be the Braves, or spoiler, it was going to be the Mets for me. But I'll explain why I have the Mets after you defend the Braves here.
I think no matter who wins the division, it's going to be such a tight race, maybe by just a few games. But it's just inconsistencies sometimes that turns me away from the Braves, and it's usually in their rotation and in their bullpen. Sean Murphy and Matt Olson. I mean, the Braves are just fleecing the A's at this point. They're that one guy in the fantasy league that will trade you a crappy 4-string wide receiver for your star 2 running backs. Ozzie Albies, great. There's so much potential. Austin Riley, Cunha, Harris, Rosario, Ozuna. Did you see that clip of Ozuna where he got pulled over and first thing he says, "I'm Ozuna from the Braves." That guy. Oh man.
Thought it would get him out of a DUI, but didn't work so well.
Just lucky he wasn't cut.
Yep.
Your starter at catcher last year is now on your bench. Great. You have Arcia. Great. Lupo. Great. Inconsistencies are in the rotation and the bullpen. But I think between my number 1 and my number 2, it's going to be like a 2-game race.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be really close like it was last year. There's no doubt about it. And except we have different teams being really close. I got the Mets. I got a close race between the Mets and the Braves again. But this year, 2023, the Mets win the division. I'm not saying they're winning the World Series. I won't go that far. But they're going to win the division. They're not going to Met in the regular season this year. Let's put it that way. In 2021, they choked in the regular season. In 2022, they choked in the playoffs. But this year, I think they get over the hump at least and at least win the division. I think they at least have that go for them. I just, it's not even like, I almost feel like the Braves and the Phillies have better rosters, but just something like, I just feel like the Mets are just going to do it. There's just something that I don't know if it's just wishful thinking, but I think the Mets finally win the division this year, and we'll see where it takes them. I wouldn't bet them on them as a World Series winner necessarily, because they are the Mets, but I think they win the division.
Hey man, like the train from Metro Center to Capital One Arena, I'm gonna miss it. I'm not hopping on board. I will hop on board with the Philadelphia Phillies winning the NL East. I think they're just too big to fail. JT Realmuto, stud catcher, considered the best in the league. Rhys Hoskins, even in the playoffs, showed so much. He's such a big power hitter. Bryson Stott shows so much potential. Trey Turner, his legs will give out at some point, but they're not out yet. One of the best shortstops, Alec Boehm, so much potential still. He's Like if you're gonna have him lay in the lineup anyway, great guy. Bryce Harper. Spoiler alert, I think he's gonna win MVP. Redden Marsh, that's your 9-hole hitter, and that's a good 9-hole hitter. Kyle Schwarber, stud. Nick Castellanos, he's gonna have a bounce back here, and he's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
The bench too, Stubbs is a good backup catcher. Hall showed potential, and he's on the backup. Edmundo Sosa, great defensive guy. Josh Harrison, former National, great clubhouse guy. Played multiple positions, including infield, outfield. Good contact hitter with a little pop. Jake K, former Twin, good backup outfielder. Aaron Nola, I think he's a Cy Young winner. Zach Wheeler, great. Ranger Suarez, great too. Tyon Walker, sneaky pickup. And I have it here that to start it off, they're gonna have Bailey Falter, but I think Andrew Painter is gonna take that pretty soon, and he's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed Craig Kimbrell, who's not the best, but when he has Sir Anthony Dominguez and Jose Alvarado behind him and Gregory Soto now, that's a stacked bullpen.
That is a good bullpen. They do the job. They'll do the job. I'd say they're not the best bullpen, but they'll do the job. So yeah, man. I mean, the Phillies, they kind of surprised everybody last year, but I don't think they're going to surprise people this year because I think we all know that they're good, and not just good, but great. And yeah, I say this division was so hard to predict because these three teams are so good in the NL East. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies are dancing on their own in first place and at the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll see. It's good. NL East, probably the most fun division to watch. I will say that.
It's gonna be a tight race.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. No doubt.
And now moving to the NL Central, but staying in the same state for 5th place, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates, man. I mean, there's just something about really bad teams that they aren't bad nowadays. They're just bad, like terrible, like awful to watch.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. What can you say about the Pittsburgh Pirates other than they just don't know what they're doing? I mean, yeah. They brought back Andrew McCutchen, so at least the fans have that.
That's the only good thing, really.
O'Neal Cruz was developed in a lab, so he's fun to watch. Yeah. As tall as Aaron Judge, runs like Tyreek Hill, can throw like Jacob deGrom across the diamond. I mean, yeah, he's a science experiment. I mean, G-Man Choi, easily the sexiest man in baseball.
Until Bartolo Colon comes back.
Oh yeah, until Bartolo comes out of retirement. But for now, actively the most sexiest man in baseball. So we got that. Brian Reynolds, come to Baltimore, please come home.
They're not going to
please come home.
Only because Pittsburgh said they want a Soto type deal for him. I mean, that doesn't scream. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what that.
and that is what is wrong with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They want too much for players that don't warrant that much, and their drafting has been not that great. And yeah, they're about as stuck as a franchise can be. I mean, they're not going to move because Pittsburgh Pirates are too iconic of a franchise to move. What blows my mind is I'm looking at it right now as a franchise, they still have a winning record all time. It's really close. I mean, it's only a plus 40, but surprisingly that they still. Yeah, that's going to change this year. They're going to be a below 500 franchise all time. But pretty impressive from 1882 to 2022. But I'm getting off track. But yeah, we won't dwell on the Pirates much more because there's not much to dwell on. But Yeah.
mean,
Sorry, Pittsburgh. It's not great.
if I had to point it out, I mean, Austin Hedges, I mean, great defensive catcher. G-Man Choi, you have power. You could flip him. O'Neal Cruz, monster. Brian Hayes, great kid. He's going to be good. He's going to get traded. Connor Joe has potential, but just couldn't do it in Colorado. Brian Reynolds, I think he will get traded, but for much, much less than he should because of
Yeah.
risking. Andrew McCutcheon, just love the story. Carlos Santana, why are you still in the league? Bench, the only name I really recognize that well is Swaggerty, and that's because of an MLB The Show card out of everything.
And that last name. I mean,
Yeah,
possibly one of the best last names in baseball.
put on a good team and you'll be great.
Yeah, yeah.
That rotation, wow.
Rich Hill, man. Why Rich Hill? Why are you still playing? Why did you sign with the Pirates? I mean, I guess if I could make millions of dollars playing baseball, I would sign with the Pirates, but it's gonna be a rough go.
I mean, the only reason I have Mitch Keller one is just because of the potential. Rich Hill, nicknamed Dick Mountain, because Rich, that's not bad language. That's his nickname. It was on a jersey. Calm down.
Calm down, everybody.
Vince Velasquez, Ronzi Contreras, JT Brubaker, Bednar's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
yeah,
it's not that much better going up to fourth place. It's a little better.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Not a lot better. And I think we are in agreement there that it's going to be the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude.
Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati loves to trade star players away for nothing.
They're good at it. They're really good at it.
I mean, their lineup is okay. They have okay pieces, but Tyler Stevenson, he's going to waste his career in Cincinnati. Votto had a few playoff runs, but he's old. Jonathan India, please trade him.
Mm-hmm, please.
Noelvi Marte, they got him for Luis Castillo. He's not going anywhere. Kevin Newman, you were one of the Pittsburgh best players, so not going anywhere. Will Myers, remember when he was a top prospect?
Mm-hmm.
Nick Senzel, Nick Solak, Jake Fraley. That doesn't really scream good. Hunter Green, good. Nick Lodolo, good. Ashcraft, okay. And then you have Luke Weaver and Luis Sessa and Edwin Diaz's was it brother?
Mm-hmm.
Alexis Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a race to who finishes fifth.
Yeah. That's what everybody will be watching is who finishes last in the NL Central because it's going to be a tight race. Let's put it that way. It's going to be a tight race, just not in the way that either of those teams would hope for.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they at least they have some fun players to watch. I mean, India is a stud, and Votto. I mean, I'd like to see Votto get another crack at it just because he's such a good personality and ambassador for the game, and just he's a character, man. But I do like him. I almost wish he would go to Toronto because he is Canadian, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Reds. What can you say? Fourth place.
Can't say much.
That's all you can say.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and assume we have the same third place team, and that is a team based on cheese and beer.
Oh man, I think we might be different here.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'll since I already spoiled it.
How come you got Milwaukee in third? That rotation.
I just don't think they have a full lineup compared to the other teams. You've got Contreras, great pickup. Rowdy Tellez, inconsistent. Toro, inconsistent. Willie Adames strikes out too much. Luis Urias strikes out too
Mhm.
much. Yelich, not an MVP candidate anymore. Garrett Mitchell has potential, not there yet. Jesse Winker, what a crappy season. Owen Miller, that was a great pickup. Bench is all right. Corbin Burns, Cy Young, talent. Woodruff, great pitcher. Freddie Peralta, Lauer has moments, and Wade Miley is Wade Miley. And Devin Williams, can you really trust him in the closer role?
Yeah, oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name?
You think about Josh Hader?
Yeah, Haterade. Yeah, that trade was brutal for them. That was just a momentum killer for them, and it'll be interesting to see. I still think they're going to be a team that fights for a wild card, and that they're still going to finish higher than third. But their time's running out. Their time is running out, unfortunately. That rotation still plays. Corbin Burns is an ace. Woodruff's a good number 2. Peralta, if he stays healthy, he's good. Lauer, like you said, consistency. Miley, I think anybody would be happy with Wade Miley as a 5th starter. I mean, he can still come out there and give you a decent start. I agree that their lineup is not great anymore, especially with Yelich on the decline and Winker questionable, and Adames not that great anymore. Yeah, it's. I think it wouldn't surprise me if the Brewers fall off, but I still think they got one more go this year.
I can definitely say. I think even from third place, they could make a wild card spot.
Yeah, their rotation will keep them in it. It's a matter of how much offense they can get. But yeah, the rotation will keep them in it. But 2 and 3 could easily flip flop for me. Yeah, and third for me, I got the Cubs, and I would say the Cubs are the most mid team in all baseball. I mean, they made a lot of moves this offseason, a lot of moves, and they got Swanson, they got Tyon, they got Smiley, they got Bellinger, Mancini, Barnhart, Boxberger, Nittoli, and Hosmer. So I mean, they made a lot of moves on paper, but besides Swanson, a lot of mid players. And that lineup, can Bellinger be MVP Bellinger again, or at least good Bellinger? Swanson, he's a great player, but he doesn't have the stars surrounding him like he did in Atlanta. So he's going to be the guy, and I just don't know if he could be the guy for a team. Hosmer, he's at the end of his career. Pretty average guys otherwise. I mean, Mancini, great story. Obviously, I love him from an Orioles fan perspective, and I wish him nothing but the best. World Series champion Trey Mancini. But yeah, he's not going to carry that team, that's for sure. And then the rotation is Tyon. Can he be consistent? Can he stay healthy? Marcus Stroman. Can he be consistent? Kyle Hendricks is Mr. Consistency, but he's getting older and he doesn't throw hard. So if he's not working his stuff, then it's going to be challenging. Drew Smiley, good back of the rotation, but nothing special. And yeah, their bullpen is So yeah, they're just very mid. They're very mid. I mean, they're the epitome of being mid. So I got them in third. I got Brewers in second because I think they'll take one more crack at it.
All right. Well, this is where I said I had like a little surprise pick. This is like my one. I'm going out on a limb. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I have St. Louis coming in second.
Oh shoot! Wow.
I just really like the Cubs, man. I think they have it. But like I think St. Louis is gonna be like right on their tail and slide into the wild card spot. The St. Louis's lineup is just stacked with Contreras, Goldschmidt, Gorman, Edman, Arenado, Newbar, Carlson, O'Neill, Yepes, great bench, Flaherty. I mean, their rotation. Oh man, Shaq, Flaherty, Wainwright, Nicholas, Montgomery, Matz. It's decent, and Helsley is great, but they just find a way to get hurt or just go on a losing streak. And last year, the only thing keeping them afloat was Goldschmidt's hitting streak, and they're not the Cardinals of old. And going to the Cubs now, like that's the Cardinals for me. And second, the Cubs, that potential impresses me so much. It's just Tucker Barnhart's so underrated, and Eric Hosmer's okay, and you're not going to have studs at every position, so having an okay guy in the middle to bottom order is all right. Nico Horner is, he's young, but I think he's going to be a stud. Dansby Swanson, I wanted the Twins to sign him because that kid's good. And when Acuna got hurt and it was just Swanson out there, he carried and he did it, and he's good. And now, a cool fact about him: his wife actually plays for the USA team. Mallory Pugh was the name. Now it's Mallory Swanson. That's cool. Patrick Wisdom is a power hitting third baseman. Suzuki was great until he got hurt. Bellinger, again, low order unless he pops off. Ian Happ play a lot of positions, and he's been a good hitter. And Trey Mancini, just like you have him in the DH spot, he's gonna hit. Jan Gomes, great defensive backup catcher. Nick Martigold, he has good potential. You got him in the Kimbrel trade. Zach McKinstry, good guy just to plop in if someone needs a day off. Steven Morale, Amaya, that rotation. Tyon I think he can be a stud with Chicago. Stroman has proven himself as the top of the rotation guy for a team like this. Kyle Hendricks is, Mr. Consistent, but as like a 3-hole guy, a guy in the third spot in the rotation. I think he's pretty good. Drew Smiley, I think he's a good 4 guy. Keegan Thompson had potential show. And as the 5th guy, no pressure. The bullpen is where I think it does lack, but that can be fixed with trade acquiring people in the trade block.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that you have this much faith in the Cubs. It's I got the Cardinals for me. Cardinals going first in that division. It's me to say it.
Hey man, I could see that.
Yeah, it pains me to say it because the Cardinals are always there. I am sick and tired of the St. Louis Cardinals being in the playoffs, winning the NL Central. It's getting annoying. But Cardinal baseball is they just get after it, and they constantly have good players, and they acquire players like Goldschmidt and Arenado just to on top of everybody they bring up. Cardinal baseball is good baseball, so I got them winning the division yet again. So, it's going to be. I think the NL Central has the chance to be shockingly interesting, but I think the inevitable result is Cardinals first, and just the other teams fighting it out to be a borderline wild card contender. So,
hey man, since 2019, that division's been up in the air.
That's for sure. Yeah, Yeah, I think you put it best. Yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. I mean, we had good battles between Cardinals Brewers, but yeah, it's now more than ever it's kind of up in the air.
And can you believe we're going to our last division now to talk about?
I say one more division, and
It's an exciting
it's
one.
yeah. Say the NL West certainly got more exciting, and it gets more exciting as we get to the top. But we got to start at number 5. And I actually, I actually, this besides 1 and 2, the bottom 3 teams is kind of interesting. I got Colorado at 5. I don't know what you got, but I got Colorado at 5.
I got the same thing as you.
Okay. Yeah, Colorado. I mean, I wish they were good, but they just aren't. And yeah, it's their lineup is
Mm.
eh. I mean, they got CJ Crone, who had a great year last year, but is he benefiting from Coors Field? Probably, probably, because yeah, I mean, his average certainly improved and on base, but yeah. So, but I mean, in Colorado, he's great. I love him in Colorado. Um, Charlie Blackmon, not not the same Chuck Nasty uh, as we had before,
Nasty.
but Chuck Nasty, yeah, man. When Chuck Nasty was an all-star, he was a beauty to watch. But unfortunately, I think his career is heading on the decline. I mean, he's 35 years old, so or 35, 36, 36 years old actually.
Oh,
Gonna turn 37 this year.
it's the
But
beard.
yeah, the beard hides all the wrinkles. But yeah, it's yeah, he's on the decline. Chris Bryant, I don't understand why he signed in Colorado. I guess it's close to Nevada where he's from,
Money.
but
Money,
money,
money, money,
yeah.
money.
I mean, when the team's gonna throw money at you, why not, right? Why not? He's already got a World Series. He's already got an MVP. Why not make some bank? And he's making pretty good bank. I mean, he's making on average 27.5 a year. So, and to play as little as he does, that's a pretty good deal.
Man,
So yeah, I mean, and then rotation. I mean, Marquez can be good. Kyle Freeland hasn't been good since 2018, and the rest, it just Suter, Arena, Ginger. I mean, eh. So I mean, sorry, Colorado, you're not gonna have a good season again this year. Pains me to say it because I like Bud Black and I like when the Rockies are good, but it's not going to be good this year.
I feel bad for Colorado fans,
Mm-hmm.
especially since news broke that their owner says that rebuilding's never his thing and he will never tank.
Mm.
Yeah, this team's just gonna
Yeah.
keep going down. You have an okay catcher, CJ Crone, great power hitter. Brendan Rodgers showed signs. Ezekiel Torres is a very promising guy. Ryan McMahon had that decent stretch, but it's been okay ever since then. Grichuk is okay. Daza is okay. Chris Bryant's good, but always hurt. Chuck Nasty's old. No one on the bench. The rotation screams terrible. I was high going in on last season with Marquez. Disappointing me so much. He's terrible in my mind now, and Daniel Bard is a good closer, especially for Colorado. It just screams fifth place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I say they're another one of those teams that has refused to embrace, like you said, refused to embrace a rebuild, and never quite sure of what their identity is, and that's how they end up consistently being fourth, fifth place team year after year. It's just they just won't face reality. So, yeah, Colorado. Sorry, guys. Number 5,
Yeah,
and
I think
who
number
you
4
got it?
is also pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, and it's the D-backs.
Dry as the desert.
Dry as the desert. Yeah, I say Arizona. I mean, they picked up Zach Gallen, so he's a stud. I think he can really be something for them. Their rotation will be okay. I think Merrill Kelly, Bumgarner. If Bumgarner can kind of be decent again. Zach Davies, I like, and I don't know Ryan Nelson, but their rotation will be okay. Their lineup, Corbin Carroll. I mean, I think that's exciting. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Evan Longoria. I didn't realize till today that he was in Arizona. So hopefully he can help the young guys develop. Ketel Marte is a solid player. Christian Walker, former Oriole, good player. So they have some bright spots for sure. They're another team that I just feel like blow it up and come back again, but they're kind of treading water, sort of. But they have more promise than Colorado and some other teams like the Pirates and stuff. They're certainly looking upwards, I think.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited to see Arizona. I don't think they're gonna be that good, but that potential, I'm excited to see. You trade Varsho, a stud with Arizona, to Toronto, but you get one of the top catching prospects in the league in Gabriel Moreno. You also get Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Christian Walker, power hitter. Need those.
Mm-hmm.
Ketel Marte, he had a bad first half, but showed that he still has it in the second half. Nick Ahmed is a great defensive shortstop. Rojas he has pop. Kyle Lewis, he has a bunch of potential. He just hasn't really hit it yet. Corbin Carroll, I'm super excited to see. I think that kid's gonna be a stud. Evan Longoria, I think he's gonna be the starting DH, but he could also flip it. Carson Kelly, Seth Beer, Alec Thomas, Zach Gallen, straight up stud. And you traded Jazz Chisholm to get Zach Gallen. That's a win-win for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Merrill Kelly, who looked pretty good last year, especially for a number 2 guy. Bumgarner, you have him the number 3. You're paying him all that money. You got to throw him in somewhere. Zach Davies is for number 4 is good. And Ryan Nelson is like a prospect for them who came up last year and did decent. And he still has a ton of potential, and I think he's going to be good. He could even slide up to that 3 spot at some point. And then your closer's Mark Melancon, who's washed.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, exciting. Baltimore's better, but I think they have that same thing where no matter what happens, it'll be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Arizona's definitely trending in the right direction. Yeah, they embraced the rebuild, and they're trending in the right direction. They have good core players there, and good young guys on the way. Like Corbin Carroll, yeah, like you said, I think he's going to be an absolute stud, and yeah. So Arizona Diamondbacks. It ain't their year this year, but they're going to be back in it. I think in a couple years. So we'll check in with them in a couple years, but they're heading the right direction for sure.
I was really close to putting them in 3rd.
Oh wow! Actually, you know what? That wouldn't surprise me, because the Giants are a team I think that is refusing to embrace a rebuild. Oh, I mean they just flat out are, because they had a great 2021. which was earned, but it came off the back of some of their core players from their World Series dynasty having resurgencies, like Buster Posey,
Crawford.
Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford. Like, they all had pretty good seasons in 2021, and they had other guys step up. Logan Webb is their ace, and Gosman was there. But last year, they were mid, 81 and 81. They were mid, and it ain't getting much better. I mean, they don't have Belt anymore. They don't have Longoria anymore.
No Rodon.
No Rodon. I'd say that that hurts in the rotation there. No Rodon. So you got Webb at the top, but I mean, who's there? Who's going to help him out? I don't know.
Don't be surprised if Arizona actually takes over that third spot.
I mean, looking at the Giants roster, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Brandon Crawford getting towards the end of his career. Wilmer Flores is okay. Mitch Haniger is okay. Yastrzemski is okay. Conforto, can he stay healthy? Jock Peterson is not going to carry a team. JD Davis, So, I mean, other than Logan Webb, and I mean, Sean Manaea is pretty good too, but can he stay healthy and can he stay consistent? The Giants are heading the wrong direction, and they're not embracing it, because they went hard after Judge and hard after Correa, and I think it's great that they didn't sign either of them, because it would have really prolonged any sort of rebuild and transition, because they need to rebuild. They need to rebuild. Let's be honest. Giants, you had your dynasty, but you got to rebuild now.
Just go on YouTube and rewatch 2010 through 2014.
Yes, I said they have plenty of fond memories to look back on, and I say stick it out, rebuild, come back in a few years. We'll be ready for you.
You know, I think I convinced myself. Arizona's 3 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a decision too to switch that. I'm switching that up right now. I'd say after further studying the Giants roster, Arizona I think is better pitching, better lineup. I mean, I think they just got it. So
I think so too. I mean, the Giants have okay stuff like Joey Bart, potential catcher, JD Davis, Estrada, Crawford, Flores, Haniger, decent, Yastrzemski, decent, Conforto, Peterson, streaky, bench is Webb is honestly Manaea, Stripling, everyone's It's just That's all I can. If someone asks me, how would you describe the Giants in one word?
It's a whole lot of Oh yeah. It's I mean, they're heading in the wrong direction, which is for them. It could be the right direction if they decide to rebuild, but if they're going to try to contend, they are definitely headed in the wrong direction. So yeah, I think that bottom of the NL West is we know who the 3 teams are going to be, but my question is to finish out our show tonight, who do you have winning the NL West? Because it's only coming down to 2 teams.
Well, it's not San Diego.
The Dodgers.
San Diego for second for me. They just can never get it together. And the rotation is so bad. I mean, Austin Nola behind the plate, decent. Cronenworth, good. Kim, I think he could have a breakout year. Bogarts, great acquisition. Machado, he's going to opt out after this year, but at least you have a great third baseman this year. Soto, I don't think he's going to re-sign with them, but you have him this year. Tatis is going to be playing center field. How's that going to work out? Trent Grisham in left. defensively great, can't really hit. Cruz couldn't hit last year. The bench is decent. You have Darvish and Musgrove. Snell is okay. Honeywell Jr., Weathers, Hader, shaky. When he went to San Diego, just shaky. And then I'm not sure if you have the same thing as me.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement there. I got the Padres number 2. I guess I didn't study the rotation enough because I thought it was going to be closer. But yeah, I mean, their lineup is great on paper. I mean, adding Bogarts is awesome for them. I mean, that left side of the infield is nasty between Bogarts and Machado. So they still got Soto. We'll see if Tatis Jr. can come back and be good. He's got a lot to prove, that's for sure. Especially with the suspension, he's got a lot to prove. He's got to earn back the fan base's trust. So he's got a lot of pressure on him for sure. So I think Nelson Cruz was rolling until his time with the Nationals last year, and he just was not good.
Sounds
So
like every
we'll
Nationals
see.
player.
Yeah, we'll see what he can bring if he even finishes out the season there or finishes out at all. But yeah, I mean, that rotation was good to finish the year for them, and if it weren't for the Phillies just being an absolute buzzsaw, they were on it, but they have 3 or at least 2 inconsistent top tier starters. So Darvish and Snell, but yeah, we'll see. But they finished a solid second place in my mind. They're not overtaking the Dodgers yet.
How can you? Yeah,
Not with
Will
that
Smith,
pitching.
Freddie Freeman, Gavin Lux. You trade for Rojas, Muncy, Betts, Outman, Taylor. You signed JD Martinez to be your DH. You have a great bench. Bueller, Kershaw, Ureris, Gonsolin, Syndergaard, and you have Dustin May as a potential 6th starter. And you found yourself another closer after losing Jansen, then Kimbrel. Now you found a stud in Evan Phillips. LA's LA.
Yes.
I can't explain any other way. Just Dodgers are Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, man. I mean, they're still good. I mean, how can they not be? The rotation 1 through 5, and they get, like you said, they got a guy who can come in as 6th starter or replace, like Kershaw battles injury problems, so he can come in when Kershaw's out. And yeah, I mean, Gonsolin was amazing for them last year. Urias is turning into the stud people thought he would be. Bueller is a stud, and when he gets healthy, he'll be great. Kershaw's Kershaw. Syndergaard had a bounce back with between the Phillies and the Angels, and yeah, that lineup plays still. I mean, I thought losing Turner was going to be a huge thing, and I mean, it is a huge thing, but they still got Freeman, Smith, Betts. I mean, they still got the 2 best contact hitters in all baseball, Freeman and Betts. I mean, those guys just hit. So see if Muncy can bounce back. Rojas is a good veteran, I think, adding to that team back in LA. JD Martinez, why not? Why not sign him? The Dodgers got money to spend, and who knows that he has a resurgency in LA. Boston kind of worked out for him, but it didn't end so well. And Chris Taylor is a good bottom of the lineup player that you can just kind of plug around. So yeah, Dodgers are gonna Dodger, and that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, I think that does it. That's all 30 teams. That's all 12 divisions.
Yeah, so now it'll just be a matter of
6 divisions.
making
I'm getting too ahead of myself.
figuring out which of these teams that are up there are going to make the playoffs, which we'll save for next time.
Yep. We're gonna start signing off here real fast, but episode 2 will be our playoff predictions, our way too early playoff predictions, and our award ceremony with special trophies included. Stay tuned for that. So I am Giovanni Velasco. This is Luke Pruitt. Thank you for listening to the Beltway Baseball Podcast. Till next time. Goodbye.
Peace.